Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zelbo Tech, and this past week we had a lot of different updates. We had iOS 16.4.1, today we had 15.7.5, and there's more to talk about with Apple News and much more. This is your news update for the week of April 10th, 2023. Now, YouTube Premium will soon offer enhanced 1080p mode and SharePlay options on iOS. This seems a bit odd to me, and this is from the new CEO of YouTube. It says, great read on some of our new YouTube Premium features, including queuing on phones and tablets, watch YouTube together on Android and iOS, jump back into YouTube across devices, which I thought we already had, offline viewing, and higher vid quality. Now, we currently already have up to 4K, which I thought sort of represented the higher vid quality already. So maybe that will go away and we'll have 1080p at higher levels of streaming, since we really don't have 4K displays anyway. But either way, this is kind of an odd update. So hopefully people can still get 1080p up to 4K without paying for premium. We'll have to wait and see what they do with that. Now, as far as new app updates, I wanted to share one that's a bit odd. Domino's now allows you to use CarPlay to order a pizza. So let's try it out and see what it looks like. Now let's go ahead and plug in the lightning cable to our CarPlay device and see what this looks like. So now we have CarPlay, and if we scroll over, we should see a Domino's app, and within the Domino's app, it says preparing your account for ordering, and we can tap to order or call to order. So this is a new update that you can do this right from your device and also see different locations nearby. So it's always nice to see people add functionality to CarPlay, but this one was a little bit odd. Last week, a bunch of iPhones were stolen in the Seattle Alderwood Mall. They actually tunneled through a nearby coffee shop bathroom and then went in and avoided the alarm system and stole all of the different iPhones. Now, Apple has the serial number to all those iPhones. They can usually locate those if they need to, so hopefully they'll take care of that a little bit later. Now, Apple will announce its second quarter earnings on May 4th, so we'll see if they've actually sold more iPhones or if things are declining with the different economy declining. We'll have to wait and see what they do with that. And to go along with that, unfortunately, some Apple retail employees will be losing their jobs, according to Bloomberg. Now, this specifically would affect some employees who handle the upkeep and construction of retail locations. Apple said these are not layoffs, but rather adjusting what is needed for the business overall. So whether or not that's really related to overall sales is hard to say. I would guess it is, but they've tried to keep as many employees as possible and haven't had the huge layoffs like Google, Amazon, and others. In a recent Apple support document, Apple has advised if crash detection calls emergency services by accident, like we've been hearing more and more, instead of hanging up, wait until a responder answers. So you can see here, scroll down, it says, if you're able to respond, if the call has been made, but you don't need emergency services, don't hang up. Wait until a responder answers, then explain you don't need help. This is better for both responders and sort of tracking where this is happening as well. So making sure they know there's not actually an emergency, and that maybe hopefully Apple can fix this issue if it's responding when it shouldn't be. Apple also released a press release this past weekend reinforcing that it will be carbon neutral by 2030. So if we go to their press release here, it says Apple and global suppliers expand renewable energy to 13.7 gigawatts. And you'll see here over 250 global manufacturing partners are now on a path to decarbonize Apple production by 2030. So it's something they announced this past week, and I'll link it in the description if you want to read more about it. So they've said they were going to meet these certain goals, and they're trying to do that, and looks like they're on their way. Now, this one is an odd one. Every version of macOS since 2018 has had a Bitcoin white paper in it. It's a PDF document that's a sample document for a device called Virtual Scanner 2. Most likely, this was something they put in internally, whether that be a joke or something else, and it's been in every version. We'll have to see if they remove it in the next version with the macOS 14 and future iterations now that we know. But either way, it's something that they placed in there. There was also a Safari technology preview that was released this week, and you can see here, if we go to the website with that here, you can see Preview 167 was released. They seem to release one of these every week or two, and there's just different information in here with regards to maybe if you're creating a website, things you need to update for Safari, what it can do, and more. So if you're on these, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Do you use these technology previews, or do you use maybe Google Chrome or something else? Now, WWDC 2023 is on June 5th, as we already know, and Apple has begun sending out invites, and they have already, for those that are actually going to be able to attend, that applied to attend in person, and then are drawn from a lottery system. You can see here it says requests are closed, but sometimes they do a second round of these if not everyone can join. So some people actually received invites, other people actually received notices that they aren't invited and to watch it online. That's not really much of an issue, as most of us watch online anyway and use the developer app. But either way, those invites are going out. If you're attending, let me know in the comments below. Now today, Apple released iOS 15.7.5 for older devices. On my iPhone 6s Plus, I already installed it. If we go to our settings and then go down to software update, you can see it here. It's already installed to iOS 15.7.5. And also, this is patching the exact same security updates that we got with 16.4.1 last week. So if we go to Apple's security website, you can see here, as I scroll down, they released not only 15.7.5, but iPadOS 15.7.5, macOS Monterey 12.6.5, and macOS Big Sur 11.7.6 if you're on those versions. If we go into this, we can see the same exact security updates that we had with 16.4.1 for I/O Surface Accelerator and also WebKit. So make sure you install this if you haven't already. It's just a security update, but they're major vulnerabilities, and it's only available for the 6S, 6S Plus, and 7 and SE. Also iPad Air 2, iPad Mini 4th Gen, and iPod Touch 7th Gen. Unfortunately, they never added updates after about 15.7.2 to iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, even though you could get 15.71 and earlier updates. So I wish Apple would keep those coming, but right now it's only for the older phones. Now, iOS 16.5 Beta 2 is expected this week, and I would expect it as soon as tomorrow or Wednesday. Typically, they're every couple of weeks after the first beta. It's been 2 weeks almost, and I would expect it as soon as tomorrow. Usually with Beta 2, we start to see some features in it. However, Apple should keep most of those features probably for iOS 17. So I would expect the major changes to be released on June 5th, at least to developers, then the public beta usually a week or two later, and then the final release is typically in September, usually before the iPhone 15 launch. So you can expect that. Also, we've had varying reports as to what's going to be expected for devices. iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and iPhone 10, some have said that it's no longer going to be supported, and then later it was released that it will be supported. Either way, if you have an iPhone, maybe 10s, 10s Max, don't worry about that. You should have actually access to it with those devices, but the older devices will have to wait and see. So far, the only thing we know that's coming with iOS 17 is probably a redesigned control center, which we haven't seen since iOS 11, and also stability. I think most people would welcome a stability update, but so far, it's been pretty hard to get information about iOS 17, so that could either lead to a big surprise or it's very, very minor. Now, as far as discounts this week, I'll link them in the description, but it always seems to be a discount on AirPods. There's also some discounts on MacBooks and more. I'll link those in the description as I normally do, so be sure to check those out if you're looking for any of those products. Now, as far as rumors and leaks this week, in a new render from Ian Zelbo with 9to5Mac, he's shown that the iPhone 15 Pro could look like this. It's said to have haptic buttons with a titanium frame, an updated rounded frame, and updated camera module, which looks huge, so hopefully it's smaller than this. Also an updated color in red, and then the display could have smaller bezels than the current phone. So lots of updates to expect. We usually get a redesign every 3 years or so. And this time around, iPhone production has been slowly moving away from China. This year's iPhone 15 is expected to ship not only just from China, but also India, maybe 50% of them or so. The Pro variants will still ship from China, as Apple's not fully moved everything out of there yet, according to the Financial Times. Now, many have been wanting Apple to remove the notch and dynamic island, and it seems we'll get our wish finally, but in 2025 with the iPhone 17 Pro. So in a tweet by Ross Young, he's shown that the roadmaps for Apple's iPhone displays and technology lead to Apple eventually removing it, but we haven't seen that yet. So hopefully we'll see them remove those, maybe go to something different, maybe they have a different idea. But also iPhones with 120 Hz displays on all of them seem to be a few years off still. So non-Pro phones will still only have 60 Hz displays for some time. Now, according to Ming-Chi Kuo, Apple's upcoming headset announcement is the last hope to convince investors it will be something worth getting excited about. And while AR and VR are fun at times, we've actually had an Oculus in my home for quite some time, with the Oculus Rift and the Quest 2, and typically people use it a couple hours a week or every few weeks. that's my entire family. So Apple will have to do something very different to convince people to actually want to use this more and more. Now, just today, we're seeing more and more components that the 15-inch MacBook Air could be launched fairly soon. Whether that's before or during WWDC would make sense, but either way, we're still waiting for that, as well as a Mac Pro that we haven't seen yet with updated Apple Silicon. Also, in a recent update from Ross Young, who's very accurate about displays, he stated that Apple will not be moving the MacBook Pro lineup to OLED until 2026. He referenced a report of Samsung investing over $3 billion into OLED production, which would be used for those displays on future Apple products and possibly Samsung products. Also, one thing that's a bit disappointing is Apple's decided not to make a mini LED version of the Studio display. This is again according to Ross Young, and this could be due to low sales, or maybe they just thought it was too costly to produce and would be too expensive to sell. Either way, I love the Studio display and would love to have it in mini LED, but at this point it looks like they're not going to be making it anytime soon. So lots to talk about today. I'm looking forward to that beta tomorrow, hopefully, or Wednesday, and of course iOS 17. Also, I'm really looking forward to see what Apple does with the Mac Pro, but let me know what you're most excited about in the comments below. Of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.